Hello and welcome back, fellow students. Today we'll be talking about generating patterns in a series. Now, to start off, we must define what is a um, a series. So basically, you know, a series is the sum of the terms of a sequence. So let's say not we have a sequence one. Oops, mali ang ano. Kulay. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, dot, 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 to infinity. We, its series is 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 and so on so on. That's basically the simplest explanation for a series. Now, there are two types of series, so to say. There is an infinite series, no? Oops. Infinite series, which is pretty self-explanatory. It is a series which has no last term or no a sub n, kumbaga. An example of an infinite series is what, like the example kanina, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 and so on so on. An infinite series, as I stated, has no a sub n. No, wala siya last term. Meanwhile, sa polar opposite of an infinite series is a finite series. It is a series with a last term, or in mathematics is a sub n. An example of a finite series is 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10. So you can see here, we have an a sub n, or our last term, which is 10. Now, now for an infinite series, oops, ano lang, na-mix up lang akong notes. What I was talking about is, ang finite series can also be called a partial sum, kumbaga. So, it is denoted as S sub n. Na, S sub n. Now to furthermore explain what is a partial sum, I'll give you an example. So, first, I'll give you a series. Let's say, um, 5, 10, 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus 20 plus 25 and so on so on. A partial sum is like the first nth numbers of a sequence or a series. So for example, S sub 1, which is the first term now, 1 first. For S sub 1, first partial sum of the series 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus 28 plus 29 and so on so on is 5. And S sub 3 is the first three terms, or the sum of the first three terms of a sequence. So, based na to sa itong example, the first three terms, when we add them up, 5 plus 10, 15, and 15 plus 15 is 30. And you can apply that to any n numbers. So, let's say, last example is S sub 5, no? The all the first five terms of the sequence. So 5 plus 10, 15 plus 15, 30 plus 20, 50 plus 25 is 75. Yeah. S sub 1, wait, wait, i-color code na ako kay para dali lang maanuhan, masabtan. S sub 1 and A sub 3 and wait, ano na ko, S sub 3, no, kana, meanwhile, S sub 1, and lastly is S sub 5, which is the first 5. No, I hope na it's it is understandable na what we mean by a series and a partial sum. So, I'll be moving on sa next na next na significant part when it comes to series. Next is sigma notation. No, let's skip this professional lang muna since this is a lecture. Anyways, sigma notation, notate notated ba tawag? Anyways, notated as the Greek letter sigma, sigma. Anyway, sigma notation. Sigma notation. Notation. It is notated as the symbol of sigma in Greece. No? What is the sigma notation? In simpler terms, it is a way more concise or clean way to represent or visualize a sequence. I mean a series. No, so there are specifically like three parts of the sigma notations. So first one is mostly you will see is a number, or I mean the letter n under the notation, which is the lower bound. Lower bound, which means kung asa ka mag-start, where you start the computation. No, the first number. Meanwhile, there are many variables or letters that can be seen on the top, pero I mostly use K since it's way more diverse. Diverse. Did I use it right? Anyways, if this is the lower bound, this is the lower bound, means this is the upper bound, where this is where you stop your computation. This is mostly used sa infinite na series, and the one in front, which basically is the equation of that we are going to find the sum or the series of. So for example, we have a series or a sequence. One, no, I know, dapat unique. So 15, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, and so on and so on. Now, nat natulunan sa DeVries. I don't know if may DeVries ba nag-watch I know at least two na I'm sure is go watch, pero I'll teach it anyways. So to find the equation of this sequence, first we need to find the common difference, or basically i-minus nimo ang second term sa first term. So 13, no? 13 minus 15 basically is -2, no? Now that we have the common difference, pwede na to siya mabutang sa atbang. -2 and kantog n. And the last step is you take the common difference and flip the sign. So imbes na -2 ang imong ibutang, butang nimo is +2. So the equation of this sequence is -2n plus 2, no? So let's check it. Let's test it muna to see if it's right. So Ay, mali. Mali. Diyos ko, ikat. Ikat lang na. Ikat lang. Sorry, may miscalculation. So, I forgot my how I solved it. So, now na ano na nako, na na-remember na nako. So, imbes na ano, i-plus 2 nimo dito, you should, no, you take the opposite sign, no, which is plus 2, and add it to the first term. So, 15 plus 2 is 17, which means plus 17. So, let's check it if tama, no? Negative 2, first term, no? Plus 17. Negative 2 plus 17 is equal to 15, which is tama. Ting, ting. Now, now that we have our equation, we can put it in front of the notation. Negative 2 and plus 17. This is our equation. This is what we base our sequence. Is it this is the sequence that we will be use, or the equation we will use to find the sum of each of its terms. Yeah. So, let's say I want to find the first term, want to find the sum of the first term, no, the first term up until the fourth term. So I'll just substitute, no. So sigma notation 1 up to 4. The sum of the first first 4 terms of the series negative 2n plus 17. Now you may ask, how do we use this? No. So I'll show you how. First is we'll take our equation, no, negative 2n plus 17, and then we'll substitute every number in between the lower bound up until the upper bound, which is 1 to 4. So just add them up. How many times siya yan, no? So i-substitute 2 sub 1 plus negative 2 times 2 plus 17 plus sorry if dugay kay gano kay dedyo ko mang lisod sa ni sulat plus 17, and lastly negative 2 4 plus 17. Do you get the whole picture na? So basically a substitute, which is negative 2 plus 17, basically 17 minus 2, it is 15 plus, no, copy na lang, copy. Parang mag-collapse na siya ba, basically. Mag-collapse na siya into 15. So, next is negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 17. 17 minus 4 is 13. Next is 3 times negative 2, 6 plus 17 minus 6 is 11. And lastly, negative 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 8. 17 minus 8 is 9. This is now our second equation of some sort, or second problem that we have to tackle. So pretty easy this point on. So just add up the numbers. 15 plus 13 is 28. 28 plus 11 is 39. 39 plus 9 is 48. All in all, the sum of the first four terms of the series negative 2n plus 17 is 48. I-check sana ako kung tama ba or mali. Yep, it's the first four terms of the series negative 2n plus 17 is 48. Na, there. I'll give more examples para no confusion. So, let's say I have an equation. I have a series of negative 15 plus ay negative 15, positive 10, negative 5, 0, negative 5 ulit, positive 10, and so on and so on. Ikat lang ako doon sa ano. So now, let's find its equation. Now first, you might see the first pattern. There's actually two parts of this. First is the alternating um, signs from negative to positive to negative to positive and so on. The general equation that's used when it comes to alternating is when it when you see alternating signs, you immediately think of negative 1 raised to n. And there's also two parts of this. I know it's getting a little bit complicated, but stay with me. If no, if it starts at a negative number, you don't change it. But if it starts on a positive number, then you add a plus 1, since it's even or so. Yeah, it's even. Now, now how does this sorry. Now basically how does this work? Now, how does this create the alternating signs? So let's say we'll substitute n for 1. Negative 1 times itself 1 times is negative 1. So s n n sub n n sub 1 equals to negative 1. Let's see n sub 2. No, let's check. N sub 2. Negative 1 times itself 2 times. So negative 1 times negative 1. And we know by the kalimut ko sa rule. Pero basically, if you multiply two negative numbers, negative 1 times negative 1, you get a positive, which is positive 1. And if you multiply a negative number and a positive number, you get a negative number. To keep it simple, it just means na if same ilang signs, no, if no matter if positive ba siya or negative, multiplying two same signs together will always result in a positive. Meanwhile, if you multiply a positive and a negative together, you will always get a negative number. Moving on, that's why this alternates between positive and negative. Next is the numbers itself. As you can see here, it's at first let's disregard this since we already have the equation for it. No, it's negative 1 raised to n. This, so we can disregard the signs for now. Next up is the numbers. It's 15, 10, 5, 0, 5. No, we can like I taught you earlier. You can first find the first term, and I mean the second term, and subtract it from the first term. So 10 minus 15, no? 10 minus 15, you get negative 5. So that's what you put. Negative 5n. No? Yes, negative 5, negative 5. If we disregard the signs, it's all negative 5 until infinity. So, ibalik lang ako ipadali. Next up is to find the constant. No? To find the constant, you flip the sign, which is now positive 5, and add it to your second, or I mean your first term. So 15 plus 5 is 20. So we now have our equation. So kumbaga, you can rewrite this. You can put the negative 5 and plus 20 in front so that it looks uniform, no, in some way or the other. No, no. Let me just move this konti. So we now have our equation. Now let's say I want to find the oops, oopsie. Let's say I want to find the first three. So I put the lower bound, which is where I start, at 1, and the upper bound, for which where I stop. Now, what number or what term, what place of the term of the series should I stop? So let's say I want the first three. No, and I'll input I'll input the equation 5n plus 20 and negative 1 n. Now we can substitute it. So first 1, huh? Now this is the first term, no? And I will write down the second and the third terms. No, I won't bore you that much. I will just cut directly for to when I finish it. Now I'm done. We'll simplify this out so that we have something to add up. So negative 5 times 1 is negative 5 plus 20. 20 minus 5 is 15. And negative 1 raised to 1 is negative 1. So it's negative 1 times 15, which is negative 15. No? Negative 15. Second term is positive 10, since negative 10, I mean 20 minus 10 is 10, and 10 times 1, positive 1 is 10. And you get the gist. The third one is negative 5. We'll add these up. So negative 15 plus 10 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus negative 5. Negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. So overall, the sum of the first three terms of the series, negative 5n plus 20 times negative 1 raised to n, is negative 10. That's all. This is a very long video I've made. First one I've had so far, so I hope that you understand it just as fine as I did. Now, if you have any questions, you can comment about it. But other than that, I'll see you next time.